Everyone, this is Arjan Piels. I am the face behind the Beer Chronicle, and today in the first video we're going to talk a little bit about how to select a glass for serving a beer, which is a very important part of serving a beer. Wine lovers have a pretty easy task. They have a glass for red wine, a glass for white wine, and one for champagne. In beer we have a lot of different types of glasses, and it's very important to choose the right glass with the right beer for several different reasons. I have selected a few random beers from my fridge just to give you some examples, and also I have a couple of glasses here on my left side which I'm going to show you, and I'm going to talk a bit about the relationship between the two. So if we start to select the right glass for a beer, you first have to know what beer are you going to serve. You cannot just take a glass and a beer. You can do it obviously and just serve it and drink it, and it will still taste good, but you have a much better experience if you pick the right glass. So if we take a look at these beers, I have a Belgian quad here, I have a German Weizenbock, a porter, imperial porter, and an IPA, and each and every one of that have their own glasses. For example, if we serve a Weizen, we're going for a Weizen glass. The reason is, it's first of all, the bottle is big. This is a big bottle. It's 500 milliliters. So if we try to pour that into a small glass, it's not going to fit, which means that we have beer left in there, and the yeast that is on the bottom is not going to go into the glass. It's going to stay in the bottle and it's going to be served in the second pour, which is not ideal. If we pour it in a pint glass, which is also around the same size in terms of the quantity of beer that it can hold, we still have an issue because a German Weizen beer has a lot of foam. It's a highly carbonated beer, so it will give you a large hat, which is not going to fit in a pint glass. So that's the reason that for a Weizen, we use a Weizen glass. Okay, that's just a simple explanation. Then if we look at another one, which is the Belgian beer, which is another high carbonated beer, we have to take into account that it's gonna have foam. So if we take a lager glass, for example, it's not gonna work because the foam is gonna be all over the place. For a Belgian, a triple, a quad, the best glass is a tulip glass, or sometimes a goblet will work as well, which is a glass that holds the right amount of beer and it will hold the foam. So it's a good glass for a Belgian beer style. When we're gonna pour it, we have to take into account the foam it's gonna create. Then if we go to another type of beer, which is the IPA, for example, there are some special glasses that they created for it, which is, for example, the IPA glass that we have here. It was especially made for it. I like it a lot. It's a great glass to drink an IPA. Something it's also served in a lot is the pint glass, which I personally don't like that much, because it's not really a special glass and it doesn't really hold the aromas that an IPA has. So you better go with this one. If you don't have a special glass, which is also always a good glass to pour a beer in, is just a simple wine glass. That will help you a lot. It's stepping inward, it will hold the aromas into the glass, and it has a lot of space, so it always has enough space for the hat. For the porter, we also have a specially designed glass, which is this stout glass. But again, if you don't have it, a tulip glass or a wine glass will do greatly. So that's just a short introduction in the kind of glasses that you pick. Make sure that you take into account the size, the type of beer, if it's highly carbonated or not, so you have enough space for the hat. And go ahead, we're gonna go ahead and serve a beer so you can see a bit how it works. Thank you very much.